Hi everyone, Mademoiselle Asphodel, Carol here. Today I have a couple of projects that I made using some
OohLaLaVintage Treasures kit that I purchased.
And the first item is this little dress form. And you can see it's just a little dress form on a pedestal. What I did is I cut out from the Stamperia paper, old lace. I cut out the dress from the tag that was included in the kit, and so I lined it with some of this vintage trim here, as you can see, all around the dress. I added these vintage little pearls at the bottom. So here again, all around. I did a layer on the paper and a layer on the dress form here, so there's two layers of that vintage trim. And then, before that, what I did is I took a couple of different laces and I made a skirt. And then I added the paper and lace here, and at the waist here I added a little bow with a tiny little vintage trim. I added this bling from my stash. This was also part of the same vintage trim that I used here. And I added this bling also from my stash. It's got pearls and rhinestones. And yeah, I think I've got maybe 3 layers of lace here. This is one. Here's another narrow one that I sewed onto this, or I glued onto this other trim here. And what I did is I just sort of mimicked the shape and cut it out of the same paper line and glued that to the back. At the waist, I just knotted some seam binding and some vintage scallop lace here. I made sort of I took another piece of lace and made sort of like a little bustle here at the back. And I got laces on the other side here again. Then I added this flower applique with the bling in the center. So that's the back. And on top I added a tiny little doily with a flat back pearl. And at the bottom I made these rolled roses with some vintage book paper. Some of them have pearls in the center. I added other beads and pearls on the base here. And so that's my tiny little dress form. Very vintage looking. And yeah. I will add some pictures at the end of the video so you can see it better. But I had also added a tiny little applique piece here, a little doily applique piece here at the bottom before I added the flowers. So that's my dress form. Okay.
OohLaLaVintage Treasures kit that I purchased.
I had this tiny lace book base in my stash. And what I did is I added this laces from from OohLaLa. Added some flat back pearls to it. I added this beautiful image. And then I added these tiny little flowers from my stash. Up here again is a piece of that trim from the OohLaLa kit. This was a piece that Doreen had included in the kit that she made herself. However, I did add a few items. I added a little flower here. I added this blingy piece that was actually from a bling kit of Doreen's previous kit. And there's a tiny doily underneath here. Just see it peeking through. So that's the outside. And then on this piece there's a pocket. I just added some lace from the kit. I used this little piece to make a bow, and it hangs down here. I made a tag from that same paper collection. I added a piece of trim from a previous OohLaLa kit, and added a trim at the bottom here. This one's on the inside. I'll show you in a moment. So what I did is I added this piece of lace here to make another pocket. There was already a pocket in this little booklet, but I wanted a second pocket to put the tags, and I wanted them to be see-through because I didn't want to hide the beauty of the tags. So I added the lace, another trim here, and this is the same one here, which is also the same one that I used on the outside here. But onto this one I added this scallop piece here. So those are my lace pockets, and as I said, I didn't want to cover up these beautiful tags that came in a previous OohLaLa kit. I just backed them with the paper. It was just the fabric tags. Added a piece of trim for the poles, and yeah, they're beautiful. So yeah, I'm just using it to store some extra laces from Doreen's kits. This was actually a piece that was in the kit as well. I glued that to the back in the center here. And here again, some extra lace from the kit. And I plan to make a couple of stick pins to add to this as well. And what I use to close it is this piece of seam binding here. Here's my closure. I had a lot of fun playing with this. It was a quick, easy little project. And just tie this off here. And there you have it. Let me know what you think, guys. Thanks for watching. Ciao.